It remains suspended, and power utility Eskom says that this is due to steady ongoing improvement in the generation fleet. The last time South Africa had more than 51 days without load shedding was between 5 December 2021 and 2nd of February 2022. Well, for a discussion on this, I'm joined by Professor Sampson Mamphweli, Head of Energy Secretariat of the South African National Energy Development Institute. Professor Sam, always great to speak to you. Now, there is much conjecture about what's going on, why we have more than 50 days of uninterrupted power supply. And some people are suggesting that it's all part of a guise to get us to get the ANC government past the elections. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I've been following the numbers and working closely with Eskom and receiving quite a lot of data from them. It's three main things. The breakdowns have gone down by about 7%. Which then means that the energy availability factor for the coal fleet has increased by about 7%. And you'll recall that in the Integrated Resource Plan 2010 and Integrated Resource Plan 2019, the assumptions that were made there were that if we reach the energy availability factor of 70%, we won't have load shedding. And that's where the energy availability factor is going. It tells us that the maintenance that Eskom has been busy doing, it's now becoming reliable. In other words, when they return units back to service, they don't break down immediately, or they don't necessarily have breakdowns happening elsewhere. That's the one. The second aspect is the fact that the demand has been lower than expected. This particular winter has not been that cold as yet. We expect that when we move towards June, July, the situation might change slightly. And because of the demand hovering between 24,000 megawatts and 28,000 megawatts, coupled with the fact that we have a higher energy availability factor that is now currently, as we speak, we're looking at between 67% and 70% energy availability factor. That's very good performance from Eskom. The third part is the increase in the rooftop solar PV installations, which is basically your solar panels installed by households and businesses. We've seen an increase of an additional 2,000 megawatts rooftop solar PV, which takes that share of power supply to about 6,000 megawatts. And what happens is that during the day, we've got electricity coming from rooftop solar PV that Eskom can then use to generate reserves. Basically, what happens is that the households are offsetting the power from the grid, which then means that Eskom then has additional capacity that they can use to generate reserves for the evening peaks. So those are the three main things. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the elections. Some have spoken about diesel. The fact that Eskom may be using diesel to keep the lights on. I requested those numbers from Eskom, the graphs. I have the graphs. Actually, Eskom has used much less diesel during this period, than the previous period in 2023. So those are the three main things that are contributing to no load shedding at the moment.
Now, you talk about rooftop solar, so a lot of residents have gone the route of solar, but what about businesses? Let's talk about the mines, let's talk about various manufacturing businesses. Have they contributed to this as well by going green energy?
Yes, most of the businesses have also gone green, the green energy route, especially on the commercial side of things. If you look, you move around the country and you look at things such as your shopping mall establishments and other areas like that, you will see a lot of rooftop solar PV. That's the major share of the rooftop solar PV is coming from the commercial side of things. We have a few projects coming from the big industries, such as your mines and manufacturing industries. Those we are expecting that they will be buying through, actually they have already entered into power purchase agreement with independent power producers. That's totaling about 12,000 megawatts. And part of that will start to come towards the end of this year. That combined with the work that Eskom is doing on the maintenance of the coal fleet, if the two come on board, we might see the end of load shedding towards the end of the year or early in the beginning of 2025. So I can confidently say that if the situation does not change drastically, especially on the performance of the coal fleet, we might see the end of load shedding quite soon.
But the one thing that we need to look out for is, Eskom's winter outlook for 2024. And how does it align with the current generation performance and anticipated unplanned outages?
So we expect that the system will be slightly constrained with going into winter. And Eskom also agrees with our numbers as SANEDI. We're looking at least stage 2 load shedding if the situation deteriorates in terms of the winter, where the demand will actually rise to peaking at about 34,000, 35,000 megawatts if the situation remains the same. But Eskom is working on bringing back some of the units that they are maintaining. If they manage to bring back about 3,500 megawatts of the generation capacity that they are planning to bring back, we might see days where we don't have load shedding. And at West, if we go the west route, it would be stage 5 load shedding, and that would only happen if some of the breakdowns go higher than the 7% that we're looking at the moment.
Final thoughts, Professor Sam. We've now got a substantive chief executive officer, group chief executive officer of Eskom. We've also got an electricity manager who's been pretty active in the last several months of his tenure as electricity manager. Has this been a contributory factor in the stabilization that we're seeing in Eskom at the moment?
The leadership in general, and not only on those at that level, even at power station level, things have changed drastically. When there was an acting CEO, he started, who is the CFO, he started working on getting the right people to manage at power station levels, and those were some of the sentiments that we expressed as SANEDI to Eskom and to government, that there must be people who are well vested with the power system at power station level. So the leadership in general, including the leadership of the electricity minister, since he came in, you can see the impact, because when the electricity minister came, the energy availability factor was sitting at about 41%. And then it moved to about 51%, and now we're looking at about 67%. And the minister, through some of the advices that he was getting from some of us and some of the people at Eskom in general, he focused mainly on the problematic power stations, because Eskom had already done root cause analysis. They knew which power stations were problematic. So the minister, together with Eskom, focused on those problematic power stations, and we can now see the results. So leadership and political will, one can say, contributed to what we are seeing today, and we hope that the leadership will always be there, and they will always listen and continue with the political and kind of will going forward in terms of dealing with this particular crisis.
Professor Sampson Mamphweli, Head of Energy Secretariat in the South African National Energy Development Institute, appreciate your time.